When football fans debate who truly deserves the title of the greatest of all time, only a handful of names rise above the noise. Among them stands one man whose story is as dazzling as it is tragic: Diego Armando Maradona, forever remembered as El Pibe de Oro, the Golden Boy. His name is uttered in the same breath as Pelé and later Lionel Messi. But unlike many of his peers, Maradona was never just a footballer. He was a phenomenon. He embodied both divine brilliance and very human flaws, which made him not just admired, but adored. In this video, we'll explore the incredible journey of Maradona, from his dazzling rise as one of football's greatest icons to the controversies that made him larger than life. Stay tuned until the very end, where we uncover how his legacy continues to shape the sport and inspire millions worldwide. Diego Armando Maradona was born on October 30th, 1960, in Villa Fiorito, a poor district just outside Buenos Aires. He was the fourth child of Diego Sr. and Dalma Donna Tota Maradona, and was raised in a tight-knit but impoverished household. At the age of 3, he received a small football as a birthday gift from his cousin, a gift that would change not only his life, but the destiny of Argentina. From that moment, he rarely let the ball leave his side. By the time he was 8, his extraordinary skills were impossible to ignore. He joined the youth squad of Argentinos Juniors, known as Los Cebolitas, and instantly astonished coaches. When they saw him dribbling, they doubted his age and even asked to see his identification. At just 10 years old, Maradona was already performing dazzling tricks during halftime shows, juggling a football with ease. His fame spread quickly, and soon he was a regular feature on Argentine television. At age 15, he made his professional debut for Argentinos Juniors, becoming the youngest player to appear in Argentina's top division. A year later, he was already wearing the national jersey in a friendly match against Hungary. But the World Cup in 1978 came too soon. Coach Cesar Luis Menotti thought that the 17-year-old wasn't ready, but Diego's time was coming. Despite lucrative offers from rival clubs, Maradona chose to play for Boca Juniors, the club he adored as a child. With Boca, he won the league title in 1981, fulfilling a boyhood dream. But Argentina was too small a stage for his talent. Europe was waiting. In 1982, Maradona moved to Spain, signing for FC Barcelona in what was then a world record transfer fee. His brilliance flashed brightly, but trouble followed him at every turn. Defenders hacked at his legs relentlessly, culminating in a brutal tackle that broke his ankle. Off the pitch, things were no calmer. Parties, clashes with management, and his first encounter with drugs, such as cocaine, would haunt him for decades. His stint ended dramatically after a mass brawl at the Copa del Rey final against Athletic Bilbao, witnessed by Spain's King Juan Carlos and millions of fans. Barcelona had no choice but to let him go. Then came Naples. In 1984, Napoli shattered another transfer record to bring Maradona to Italy. When Maradona arrived, the city erupted in celebration. Naples was a struggling city, poor and often marginalized. But when Diego walked into the Stadio San Paolo, 75,000 fans roared as if a savior had descended. A local newspaper summed it up: Naples has no schools, no houses, no buses, no employment, and no sanitation. But none of that matters because we have Maradona. And he delivered. With his unmatched dribbling, vision, and ferocity, Maradona led Napoli to their first Serie A title in 1987. a historic moment that shattered the dominance of northern clubs like Juventus and Milan. He would bring another title in 1990, cementing his status as a demigod in southern Italy. Murals of his face covered the city, and children were named after him. In Naples, Diego wasn't just a player, he was family. But the defining chapter of his career came not in Spain or Italy, but in Mexico. The 1986 World Cup was Maradona's stage. He didn't just play, he took over the tournament. Against England in the quarterfinal, he scored two of the most iconic goals in history. The first, forever known as the Hand of God, came when he cheekily punched the ball into the net, unseen by the referee. 4 minutes later, he dribbled 60 meters past 5 English players in what would be crowned the goal of the century. Argentina went on to lift the World Cup, with Maradona pulling the strings as the captain, even as he lifted Napoli and Argentina to unimaginable heights. Maradona's private life unraveled. Fame suffocated him, and Naples, a city that worshipped him like a god, also consumed him. He developed ties, sometimes alleged, sometimes real, with the local Camorra Mafia. Cocaine use, which began in Barcelona, became a serious addiction. By the late 1980s, it was no longer a secret. In 1990, he once again dragged Argentina to a World Cup final, this time in Italy. When Argentina faced the host nation in Naples, the city's divided loyalties were plain to see: support for Italy or devotion to their adopted son. Argentina advanced, but lost the final to West Germany. The fall came swiftly after. In 1991, Diego tested positive for cocaine and was banned for 15 months. His affair with Cristiana Sinagra and the revelation of a son he initially denied shook his reputation. When he returned, he joined Sevilla in Spain, then Newell's Old Boys in Argentina, but he was no longer the same force. At the 1994 World Cup, after scoring a spectacular goal against Greece, he was again banned, this time for testing positive for ephedrine. His international career ended in disgrace, though his tally of 34 goals and 91 appearances remained impressive. By 1997, his battered body gave out and he retired at his beloved Boca Juniors. The world wept, not because they didn't see it coming, but because it felt like the end of a magical, tragic novel. After hanging up his boots, Maradona's battles only intensified. He suffered heart problems in 2000 and 2004, the later requiring hospitalization and a respirator. Years of excess caught up with him, and only after gastric bypass surgery did he begin to regain some control. In 2008, to the shock of many, he became coach of the Argentina national team. With a squad led by Lionel Messi, Argentina had promise, but a crushing 4-0 defeat to Germany in the 2010 World Cup ended his managerial dream. Still, he remained a national hero. To Argentinians, Diego was more than football. He was proof that even a boy from Villa Fiorito could conquer the world. He wasn't just a sportsman. He was a symbol of resilience, a kind of living saint who carried their frustrations, their dreams, and their hopes on his shoulders. When he died of a heart attack on November 25, 2020, at just 60 years old, the world went into mourning. In Naples, thousands poured into the street to light candles and cry. In Buenos Aires, 3 days of national mourning were declared. For millions, it felt as if a piece of their own childhood had been taken away. And so the question remains: was Diego Maradona the greatest ever? His supporters argue yes. For who else could take Napoli, an underdog club, to glory, or lift an entire nation on his back to World Cup triumph? Pelé may have had more titles, Messi may have had more longevity, but Diego had something neither of them possessed, an aura that made him larger than life. He wasn't just a footballer, he was an inspiration, an artist, and at times, a cautionary tale. Even today, young players are compared to him, dubbed the next Maradona, but the truth is, there will never be another. Diego was a once-in-a-lifetime force, flawed, fiery, and unforgettable.